wonderful thing when you get an opportunity to give your life away. It's a great opportunity during this particular crisis to especially seek the welfare of the city. And every week we want to try to give you opportunity to think about how that might happen, how you might do it in your life, and how we might do it, especially as Christians seeking to love and bring peace to the people around us. We are grateful that we get to do that in a very tangible way tomorrow as we give away boxes full of food and other essential items to folks right here in Hannah City. So if you are among those who are in need, we certainly want to encourage you to come by between 9 and 10 a.m. to the Methodist Church. They're going to be the ones hosting the giving, and you can just drive through the drive-through and pick up a box. We want to encourage you that if you're not in need, save that for someone who is. We will certainly have a few of these boxes available throughout the month, so if you find out later that you are in need, you can call the church office there at Hannah City United Methodist and schedule a time for a pickup of a box. But we all have lots of these opportunities. But the tricky thing is often we don't really think about the person right next door. In fact, I was reminded by a friend of the story of the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. And in that story, one demon is sharing his wisdom to another demon to try to trip up this particular person that he's responsible for, to keep their eyes off of God, whom Screwtape calls the enemy. And along the way, he's going to do everything he can and give as much advice as he can to try to encourage eyes off the enemy and eyes on self. In one particular moment of the story, Uncle Screwtape says these words: "Do what you will. There's going to be some benevolence as well as some malice in your patient's soul. The greatest thing is to direct the malice to his immediate neighbors, whom he meets every day, and to thrust his benevolence out to remote circumference, to people he does not know. The malice thus becomes wholly real and the benevolence largely imaginary." Now, this was written during World War II, and he says, "There is no good at all in inflaming his hatred of Germans, if at the same time a pernicious habit of charity is growing up between him and his mother, his employer, or the man he meets on the train. Think of your man as a series of concentric circles, his will being the innermost, his intellect coming next, and finally his fantasy. You can hardly hope at once to exclude from all the circles everything that smells of the enemy, but you must keep on shoving all the virtues outward till they are finally located in the circle of fantasy, and all the desirable qualities inward into the will. It's only insofar as they reach the will and are there embodied in habits that the virtues are really fatal to us." And then he puts in parentheses, "I don't of course mean what the patient mistakes for his will, the conscious fume and fret of resolutions and clenched teeth, but the real center, what the enemy calls the heart." Seems that we can spend a lot of our time looking to people and thinking about the needs of those that are far off, far out there, but we have a responsibility and an opportunity to look the person right across the fence from us or right across town from us who may be in need. That's why the food pantry is so important. That's why things like just looking for ways to do good and to show kindness to someone else with your ears open to their needs along the way. In fact, that's why I'm wearing this shirt today. This shirt is in honor of Jessica Dubit. Every Sunday night when Jessica comes to church, she expresses with sadness, or at least when we were able to meet, she would express with sadness if I wasn't wearing my lavender shirt because it's her favorite color. Well, Jessica, this is because I want to say to you, Shalom. I want to express to you the peace of God and the kindness of God. I don't know what your neighbor or what your Jessica in your world might need to be encouraged during this time, but perhaps you could pray and ask God for wisdom and give that opportunity a shot. Have a good Friday.